Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham. A little bit different of a video today. How about a 2021 Bears mock draft? Some of you guys have been asking for it, so that's what we're going to do on today's video. A little background information before we jump on in. As of now, Chicago only has 5 draft picks in next year's NFL draft. Don't have a 4th, don't have a 7th, have 1 pick in each of the other rounds. Do have a 1st-round pick after not having one this past season due to the Khalil Mack trade, but you don't have a 4th because traded up for Travis Gibson in this year's draft. Don't have a 7th because Eddie Pinheiro was active for 5 games last year, so that pick goes to the Raiders. So that is why you only have 5 as of now. Comp picks, we don't know as of now. Way too early. We'll see if the Bears get a comp pick for someone like Nick Kwiatkowski. Who is your favorite 2021 NFL draft prospect? You guys probably haven't done a ton of research yet. I've starting to dive into the next year's class a little bit. Let me know, who's your favorite draft prospect for 2021? Now, we're doing this mock draft through the Draft Network's mock draft simulator, and don't ask me how, Justin Fields was available at number 13 overall. Now, number 13 there, you guys are probably saying a 13th pick. Based on the Draft Network's basically NFL rankings, they think the Bears are going to have the 13th pick. For example, they have the Jags with the number 1 pick, so that's why that's coming in there. It's not where I think the Bears will end up, but that's what we're going with. I don't think Fields will be there this late in the first round. That means he probably either had an injury or did not play that well this season for Ohio State, especially considering he could challenge Trevor Lawrence for the number 1 pick, especially if he builds off this campaign that he had this past year when he had just 3 interceptions and 41 passing touchdowns, and he's a pretty good runner as well. The average isn't where you'd like it to be, but 10 touchdowns, almost 500 rushing yards. This is a true dual-threat quarterback with pretty good size and arm strength. Justin Fields is continuing to ascend as a prospect. Now, we know for this year, Nick Foles and Mitchell Trubisky are going to compete for the starting quarterback job, but there's very much a real possibility that the Bears go in a different direction in 2021, especially if the season in 2020 does not go as planned. So drafting a quarterback in the first round could very well be in play. Now, I ended up with Justin Fields here. Now, probably unrealistic at number 13. Trey Lance could be an option. Here were some of the top guys available when I made this selection. The North Dakota State quarterback Trey Lance, Travis Etienne, Creed Humphrey. The Bears could add an offensive guard, certainly. Jalen Waddle, the speedster out of Alabama, and then Dylan Moses, the linebacker out of Alabama. So lots of quality players still on the board when I selected Justin Fields at number 13 overall. This would be a home run pick. Even if this season does go well and Fields is somehow on the board when the Bears draft, they should absolutely consider taking him. Now, Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence are the top 2 quarterbacks and possibly the top 2 prospects as of now for next year's draft. I want you to pick a quarterback for me. If you want Trevor Lawrence, I want you to like this video. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want Justin Fields, just type F down in the comment section. I'll make this the pinned comment on today's video, so if you get hit with the ad break, go ahead and cast your votes or like the video. Round 2, pick number 45. Again, the exact pick number there based on the Draft Network's simulation here. CADE Mays, the offensive tackle out of Tennessee, transferring from Georgia. Kind of a weird story. His dad had part of his finger decapitated, cut off at a booster event, so he's transferring. It's a whole deal. His eligibility is actually still in doubt for 2020. So if he can't play this year, he's probably not going to come out. But if he does, he's considered an elite talent, 5-star player. So round 2 feels about right for CADE Mays if he were to come out. And as you guys know, and as I know, the Bears need help up front. This group was brutal last year. Kyle Long is no longer with the team either. The tackles did not play that well in Leno and Massey. We'll see how they perform this year. But if there's not a lot of improvement, you've got to address this line in the draft next year and in free agency as well. I think CADE Mays would be an excellent addition in round 2. Some other players on the board here at pick number 45. Seth Williams, the wide receiver out of Auburn, deep wide receiver class again next year. Xavier Thomas, the edge out of Clemson. Caden Stearns, the Texas safety, another offensive lineman out of Minnesota. And then Chuba Hubbard, the Oklahoma State running back. If you guys haven't tracked what he's been up to, we'll see where he ends up going in the NFL draft. He may not even be playing for Oklahoma State this year. Who knows? But I'm going CADE Mays in round 2, the offensive tackle out of Tennessee. Bigger offensive line need. You guys think it's guard or tackle? Type G for guard, type T for tackle. I think guard is actually a bigger need right now, but long term, tackle's more important. So G for guard, T for tackle. Go ahead and let me know what you guys think down below. Our deal of the day here on Chicago Bears Now is Bears hats. Got tons of different styles on sale. And with Father's Day approaching this Sunday, it's an easy gift for your old man. I'll put this link in the comments and in the description. It's chatsports.com/Bears hats. You click on it, boom, you get to our partner Fanatics Bears hats page. And these are all on sale. Up to 25% off at chatsports.com/Bears hats. Tons of different styles available for you guys as well. Get your dad a present for Father's Day. Let's move to round 3 here. Speaking of Oklahoma State, Tylan Wallace, the wide receiver. This guy is a big-time playmaker. Now, he tore his ACL toward the end of last season, so maybe he falls a little bit in the draft. He decided to come back to school after the ACL. I actually liked him better than Jalen Reagor before the injury, and Reagor went number 21 overall to the Eagles this year. That's how good and how capable this player is. After the catch, he's excellent, 17 yards per catch in each of the past 2 seasons. His season in 2018 was ridiculous, and he was probably going to top it last year, averaging over 100 yards per game in just 9 games, and it was basically just 8 games because he got hurt early on in the 9th game. Tylan Wallace is a big-time explosive playmaker, and he would fit just right in with Allen Robinson. Miller could play the slot, and then Tylan Wallace is your other outside receiver. This receiver group would be excellent if you added Tylan Wallace, if, of course, he can get back, get healthy, and be the guy he was prior to the injury. I almost went with Terrace Marshall here, the wide receiver out of LSU. More certainty without the injury, but I think Wallace's ceiling is much, much higher. Najee Harris, the running back out of Alabama, was also on the board, as was Ohio State running back Master Teague. Richie Grant, the safety out of Central Florida, and then Darius Stills, the defensive lineman out of West Virginia. Some other players I considered at this spot, but I couldn't turn down the playmaking ability of Tylan Wallace. I think if he's healthy and he's back to what he was, this would be a steal in round 3. All right, guys, help us get to 10,000 subscribers on Bears Now. We're just a couple away from 9,300. Let's zoom on past and get up to 10,000. We got several team channels here at Chat Sports that have 10,000 subs. I want the Bears channel to be the next one, so spread the word. Help us get there. Hit that big red button. Share that link below. It's youtube.com/Bears Now. Tell your Bears fans about us and help us get to 10,000 subscribers. Round 5, pick number 141. Again, no 4th-round pick due to the trade for Travis Gibson in this past year's draft. Trayvon Merrick got a TCU. I don't think he's going to be available here. He's kind of one of these under-the-radar guys, smaller school, obviously, in the Big 12. But I've seen some mock drafts have him going in the 2nd and 3rd round with 1st-round potential. So this would surprise me, but he was available, so I took him. 11 pass breakups, 4 interceptions. Pro Football Focus graded him as the #1 safety in college football this past year. PFF isn't the end-all, be-all, but it's one of the top outlets out there that grades players specifically, especially college football players. That's pretty legitimate. You know, first-team All-Big 12, Merrick is an excellent talent. And with Tayshaun Gibson on a 1-year deal, I think this could be a guy you pair next to Eddie Jackson for the next 5 or 6 years and give you some potential. Now, again, I don't think he's going to be available in the 5th round, but who knows? True Jr., we'll see if he ends up coming out after the 2020 college football season, but I thought this was excellent value in the 5th round. Some other players on the board, C.J. Verdell out of Oregon, the running back. I think he's got some good day 3 value there. Jaquan Bailey out of Iowa State. Jordan Davis, the Georgia defensive tackle. Keep an eye on Spencer Sanders, dual threat quarterback out of Oklahoma State. Obviously, I wasn't going to take him since I took Justin Fields, but he could be a sleeper guy that turns pro this year, dual threat talent. And then Kylan Hill, the running back out of Mississippi State. Obviously, we're talking about a lot of college football players and teams. I want you to shout out your favorite college team. For you Chicago folks, are you Northwestern fans? Let me know. We're based here in Dallas. I went to college at TCU. That's why I took Trayvon Merrick. Couldn't help myself. Let me know. Shout out your favorite college team down below. Final pick here, because again, the Bears don't have a 7th-round pick. Landon Dickerson, the offensive lineman out of Alabama, transferred from Florida State as a grad transfer, started all 13 games this past season. He's got another year to go, 2nd-team All-SEC. He's got versatility, can play tackle, can play guard, has played some center in college as well. I like versatile offensive linemen in day 3. If I'm going to take one late, I think this is a guy you look at here. Other players I took a look at here, Kylan Hill was still available. Kennedy Brooks out of Oklahoma is a good player. I think in the 6th round, he's certainly worth taking. Jermaine Johnson, the linebacker out of Georgia, Xavier Henderson, the safety out of Michigan State, and then Dylan Wanham, the offensive tackle out of South Carolina. A couple of offensive linemen in the mix here, but I opted for Dickerson. And just to show you guys the Bears depth chart again at offensive line, you got to get better here. I'm not saying a Landon Dickerson's going to come in and help elevate this group greatly, but you can't get enough bodies. You can't get enough competition on the offensive line. Good offensive linemen are hard to find, and I think his versatility will give him a chance to stick in the NFL. Grade my way too early Bears 2021 mock draft, A, B, C, D, or F. We'll do a lot of these. Obviously, once the calendar turns, we'll do a bunch of them leading up to next year's draft. But we'll probably mix one in later on in the summer and or the fall as well. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know what you think of my way too early Bears 2021 mock draft. And just to recap here, I got Justin Fields in the first round, quarterback out of Ohio State, obviously a steal at number 13 overall. CADE Mays, offensive tackle out of Tennessee in round 2. The Oklahoma State wide receiver, Tylan Wallace in round 3. Trayvon Merrick, the safety out of TCU in round 5. And then Landon Dickerson, another offensive lineman, in round 6. Remember, the Bears, as of now, don't have a 4th round pick or a 7th round pick.